Episode 6, December 21st, 2010. Howard and Kevin, open your mail. Hello, lads and lasses, and welcome to another episode of Howard and Kevin, open your mail.
Wow, it just keeps getting better.
Live from Glasgow.
That is the worst French accent I've ever heard in my life. That is terrible.
Thank you. Well,
You sound nothing like Charles de Gaulle.
all the French people in Glasgow will be insulted by your comment there.
Glasgow, that's in India? Or you're doing an Indian accent?
The Glaswegians. So, hi, Kevin.
Hello, Howard.
Reverend.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Nice to be back here for episode number 6.
I've lost count. Is it 6 already?
It is number 6 on the
6.
old episode chart.
Lucky number 6.
And thanks for listening, folks. Howard and Kevin Open Your Mail is what we got here, and we're excited to open some mail and tell you all about it. So if you haven't been to our website, HowardandKevin.com, check it out.
Go there, it's good.
Lots of good stuff, and that's where you can send us a letter like the ones we're about to read.
That's right.
At mail@HowardandKevin.com. You know what else people can do, Kevin?
What's that?
They can follow us on Facebook.
They can. There's a website called Facebook now. I don't know. You may or may not have heard of it. And we have a Facebook fan page.
Right, so people
can
like us.
They can like us. Yes.
There's no option for them to kind of be mediocre,
Yeah.
like to be sort of half interested.
That's right. I don't really like you, but I'm willing to click on a link.
Yeah, so they can like us there.
Yeah.
We also have a Twitter thingy.
Sorry, what's Twitter?
It's this thing where people write very short messages and seem to do a lot of it.
Oh, it's like a bathroom wall.
Yeah, kind of.
No, okay.
So we have Twitter, which is @HowardandKevin, and so people can find us all over the social media.
It's all about being social these days.
They can email us, they can Twitter us, they can Facebook us.
They should just say hi to us on the street. I mean, really, it's the same thing.
Do you think we should stop doing this as a podcast and just start sitting out on the street?
Yeah, well, it's the equivalent of it.
Just reading letters to, we go downtown and just kind of...
I think this is the podcast equivalent of the two of us just sitting on the street, just yelling like those crazy guys down on Yonge Street. You get them sometimes. Mostly it has to do with some sort of Bible thing. They're reading something from Scripture.
So if only those guys had a computer and the
they'd be podcasting.
Unbelievable technical knowledge that we possess.
Oh yeah,
to put this all together.
I'm amazed no one else has thought of doing a podcast before. We're the only ones. I mean, it's fantastic.
Well, we're trailblazers, Kevin.
And iTunes created the whole thing just for us.
We're trailblazers, baby.
We are. So you want to get to some letters?
Letters.
Don't sing that. We'll have to pay for it.
Howard and Kevin, open your mail.
All right.
Is what we do.
All right.
And since I'm Howard and you're Kevin, and we've got mail over there,
we should probably do what we're supposed to do.
Which is open it.
All
we
right.
never promised to read it or answer it. We just promised
to opened it. Okay, I'm going to open it. All right, it's opened.
All right, thanks for listening. Okay.
That's stupid.
All right, letter number 1.
Dear Howard and Kevin, summer or winter? That's from Sophie in Toronto.
All right. Sophie in Toronto writes a very concise, interesting question, especially a question about from a Toronto listener.
Definitely, because we do get different things in those times of year. Some places it's the same, which is weird to me. It's like
Honolulu. It's just like...
It was slightly warmer in the summer. Now it's just warm here in the winter. That's weird. I don't like that. Yeah, Honolulu, exactly. They're all weird over there.
You like to have the variations.
Of course. The seasons.
The extremes.
Exactly.
The seasons. That's right.
I want it to be ridiculously hot and we all want to kill ourselves in the summer, and then ridiculously cold and we all want to kill ourselves in the winter.
That's pretty much what we get here.
Yeah, it's
in
perfect.
Toronto. We are in Toronto, in case you haven't figured that out.
No.
So the question from our dear listener Sophie in Toronto is summer or winter. So I guess she's asking, which do you prefer?
Well, I'm guessing. That's a tough one because I enjoy the activities of summer is a lot more going outside, for example. You might play a sport, you might go for a walk, you might go water skiing, that kind of thing. However, it's very hot. And as a larger human being, I swear to God, I just sweat for 6 straight months.
When you do your water skiing.
Yeah, well, exactly. Which is not so bad, because then I can just go in the water and it's all right. But, yeah, all my water skiing, I do tons of that. But in the winter, the cold, it's the cold. It's too much. I can't handle the cold. And it's winter right now when we're recording this, and it's cold. It's been really cold and awful. And I always want to move to Honolulu at this point. Really.
Well, so maybe it's funny because you went on to say how you love the fact that we live in an area with seasons, and then you basically said how you hate all of them.
Yeah, no, I know.
So what you really want is a temperate climate all year round.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess that's why people move down to that things. It's like I like the idea of having the seasons, but I don't actually like any of the seasons. Yeah, even the spring and the fall are bullshit as well. I'm sick of them all. Because in the spring, the spring is like it's all wet and muddy all the time. Yeah. In the fall, you got the stupid leaves off the stupid trees. You got to rake them up and put them in bags to give them to some homeless people. I don't know what they do with those leaves. They come by and they pick them up. I don't know what happens to them after that.
They compost them. I like all the seasons. I'm the opposite of you.
Wow.
You're the mean old grump, and
once,
and I'm the lovely, warm-hearted fellow, because I like the spring. I think if I had to pick my favorite season, I would say spring.
Spring,
because it's a time of everything's coming to life and growing. And I remember when I was a kid, my mom would take us and we would walk down in the woods and look at the little buds on the trees and think, oh, how the world is coming to life.
Yeah, and spring is the fruitiest of the seasons.
It's lovely. And the grass is turning green again, and the leaves are starting to grow, and there's a nice smell in the air, but it's not boiling hot. It's just lovely.
That's true.
I love the spring. And it's the beginning of our softball season, which I look forward to every year.
Yeah, that's nice.
And then the summer, busy, full of fun, all sorts of activities, action. I mean, there
water skiing.
Do a lot of water skiing. There are days when it gets a little hot, but I can live with that. That's what t-shirts and shorts are for.
I suppose. But the thing is, with summer, like once you're hot, it's nothing. You can't do anything about that. You can't put an air-conditioned shirt on. In the winter, I can put a sweater on. It's too cold. The winter is something you can control. Summer, that's why
your human body creates sweat to cool you down.
Yeah,
you have a malfunctioning human body. You need to talk to your sweat glands to get them working again, because they're missing out on your thing.
Maybe I do.
But you could also go into an air-conditioned comfort, You need to invent like an air-conditioned shirt, so it's like has like cooling. There's like cooling coils in your fridge. You need to have those.
I would love
woven
that.
into your actual clothing.
That would be great.
That could be your $1 million idea.
More than the shirt, pants. I would just love air-conditioned pants, because nobody wants a sweaty crotch.
You want lots of.
I just want to be cool all the time,
but not cold.
No, I don't want to be cold. Just cool.
Just want temperate.
Yeah.
Now. Okay. So then the fall, I like the fall too, because it's kind of there's a nice little crispness in the air.
Crispness? No.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
I'm pretty sure Christmas happens in
not Christmas. Crispness.
Oh, crispness.
And the colors, the trees are turning colors, and there's the football season starting up.
Yeah,
and
I don't care about any of that.
And it's all it's sort of there's a crunch, and a kind of a crisp, and I like that. And then the winter, crunch. I agree that there are days when you're driving in the slush and you can't see where you're going because of the snow and all that. That it's not so fun. But sometimes it's beautiful to go outside on a beautiful winter day with everything all covered in white and the snow on the ground and the nice little fresh feeling. You ever go outside in the morning after a big snowfall, and it's like everything is kind of, you can sort of smell the snow and everything's kind of quiet because it's all kind of dampened down.
I gotta shovel the driveway. I've got to get the snow off my car. I get pissed off. It's terrible. Every season is awful. I hate all the seasons. No, that's not true. I'm being facetious. But I think if I had to choose between summer or winter, I'd probably go with winter. Only because, it like I say, it's just no controlling the oppressive heat in the summer. There's just you can't, you could go somewhere air conditioned, that's fine, but eventually you got to leave that. And there's just no getting around the nastiness of the heat. I'd rather wrap up in the cold than have to be hot.
I think I'm the opposite. Not that I dislike winter, because I don't. But I think if I had to choose one, I would choose summer. I like being in the t-shirt.
I think what we've discovered is that
going outside and hanging out.
I think based on this disagreement, we should disband our podcast. You need to move to like
Phoenix, Arizona.
Phoenix, Arizona, exactly. And I need to move to like Inuvik, and we'd love it. It'd be perfect.
Wow.
Best of two worlds.
Maybe we could do like some sort of Skyping podcast.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
You know what I think was an interesting little observation of humanity that I've been thinking about a lot lately. I won't go into a long, in-depth thing here, but it's like when you're cold or hot, whatever the case may be, summer or winter, we know in the back of our head that we're not living in a time or a place where we're going to freeze to death.
Certainly not.
Right? You know that you're outside and you're cold and you're walking home from work or whatever and you're freezing and your boots don't work or whatever. But you know that 10 minutes from now you're going to get home, or if you had to, you could duck inside somewhere or whatever, right? You know you're not going to freeze to death.
Probably not.
And the same thing in the summer when you're really uncomfortable and hot and sweaty. But you know that it's just temporary.
Yeah.
You know you're not going to die of heat.
Yeah.
Whatever. But it's so funny how in the moment we are as humans.
Oh, for sure.
You know, like when you're really hungry, it's like you can't think about anything else except you know you're not going to starve to death.
No.
You know all you got to do is make it down to the sub shop and you're going to be fine, right? But it's just like I can't function. I'm too cold. I can't. You know.
Yeah.
It's just there's something about being in the moment that we humans. If we could just get beyond that, if we could evolve to another level of to be able to master our consciousness.
Well, I think you're talking about that separation that we all have between our rational mind and our kind of instinct. You know what I mean? Like, our rational mind says, look, I'm going to eat in, a couple hours, I'll be fine. But that's that instinct inside that's going, you got to eat now. I need that food now. Or I got to get out of this cold. Oh, my God. And I'm like, dude, just wait. Just 5 minutes. We'll
or it's
be
like,
there.
if you stub your toe, right? You know that 10 minutes from now it's going to feel fine.
Yes.
Right? You know that you didn't break your toe off.
No.
You know that the pain will go away. You've had that experience before. But when that pain is there, when you've just done it, you can't help yourself but like screaming and I can't move, I'm hopping around and so angry at your stupid chair.
Yeah, well, if your rationality could defeat pain, then you'd be like a ninja.
Hunger, heat, cold.
I think samurais and Jedis can do that.
Jedis.
Yeah, they can do that.
We need to Jedi ourselves up a bit.
I think so. I'd love to do that.
All right. So anyway, Sophie from Toronto, thank you for your letter. I think Kevin and I are.
You split the podcast.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Sophie.
Kevin's winter. I'm summer. I'm the heat miser, and you're the cold miser.
See, cold miser's way cooler.
Well, that's why he's called that. All right, should we move on to another letter? So thanks for your letter. Here's another one. This letter is also from Toronto. We need to expand our listenership outside of the Greater Toronto area, but in time. This letter is from Peggy in Toronto, and it's also a brief question where she just it's also sort of down to a couple of things for us to talk about. She basically says, boxers or briefs?
This old question.
The age-old question. Boxers and briefs. She would love to know what we wear. From Peggy in Toronto.
It's a little disturbing. I'm not sure why she cares what kind of underwear
I think she's observing humanity.
First, I'd like to know that she's actually referring to underwear. Because we don't know that for sure. She could be talking about boxer dogs and legal briefs. We don't know.
Well, that's true.
It's possible.
Or boxers, like as in wrestlers, fighters, boxers.
Yeah.
And briefs. You could be like, legal.
Yeah.
I can't think of another meaning for briefs. But
no, I don't think so.
I'm going, considering the fact she's used both of these words in the same sentence.
Yes.
I think we need to use our intuitive powers.
Okay.
To assume that she's talking about underwear.
Wow.
Men's underwear.
You're like House.
Thank you.
You're figuring out things all over the place.
Now, if she'd said boxers or wrestlers, say. Or if she'd said, I don't know.
File folders or briefs.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, so this seems like a pretty simple question. I'm not sure we're going to have a lot of in-depth here. However, I will throw a little bit of a wrench in the works here by saying that I don't wear either.
Hello.
Now, I'm not saying I don't wear anything. I'm saying I wear a combination of the two, being the boxer brief.
Oh.
So it's halfway. Because I do whatever Marky Mark said to do 20 years ago. Because I remember that's the first time I saw those things. It was on those Calvin Klein ads, like those big billboards.
Okay,
with Marky
so
Mark on.
I have a few points to make here on this fascinating subject. My first question for you, though, is: did you come to your boxer briefs from?
That's a personal question.
From the boxer side or the brief side?
I came from the brief side, so I went from briefs to the boxer brief.
Now, I wear briefs. I'm just gonna say that right out there.
Fine.
Now. Have always done so.
Very good.
Never changed. As a matter of fact, I've never actually changed it.
You've had one pair.
Wearing the same pair. And when they wear out, I will change them. But that day still has not come. Now,
oh my goodness.
The wash day is embarrassing in my house. I'll tell you that. Anyway, what I have found, I tried the boxer briefs once.
Okay.
Just because, I was curious about it.
Yeah.
And
you're so adventurous.
I know. And I found them to be extraordinarily uncomfortable because I didn't like the feeling of the thing going halfway down my thigh here. And it sort of like would ride up, and kind of, I felt like it was always, pinching the outside of my pants to pull down those little leg parts.
Yeah.
So why? What's the point of them?
So I've never had that though. That doesn't happen.
But what's the point of it? Like, why do you?
I think I just think they're cool.
Oh well.
B,
all your people watching you wear them.
Well, I wear them. I just wear them down the street. You never know when you're going to have to take your pants off hard.
It's true. You could be in an accident.
Exactly. And you're going to want to make sure those are clean. That's what your mom would tell you.
Yes.
I think no. For if you really want to get into the nitty gritty of it, I think I like them because I have thighs that tend to rub together. So you as a supermodel,
yes, slim and slender.
I know that you have that issue, but for me, that is something that does happen. So with the boxer brief, if there's this is really, I did not know we'd get this in depth. I'm going to be revealing a lot of stuff about myself, but in the combination of the boxer brief and the pants, sometimes the pants can do a little chafing. Okay, so the jeans, that upper part of the jeans that's coming up the middle there, has a tendency if you go for a long walk or something, do some chafing. Now the boxer brief prevents that from happening.
I see.
Quite well.
Now, have you ever tried wearing boxers?
I did have a pair of boxers, too bunchy. I thought your problem with the thing, that was accented for me even more.
And I got to tell you something. I tried boxers once, just same kind of thing. Curious, know. People wear them, right? So I figure maybe I'm missing something. Maybe they're good. Maybe I don't know. Mm-hmm. I don't get it at all. Yeah. I don't understand how anybody wears boxers. I find them okay. You want to know why?
Yeah.
It's too loose down there. I don't understand. It's like I don't even. Might as well not be wearing anything at all.
I know. It's kind of like wearing shorts under your pants.
Like I don't get the whole. Like to me, if your underwear isn't gonna hold yourself in place like a bra in a sense.
True, yes.
Then why? What's the point of it? I'm not saying you would just wear pants with no underwear, but I don't. To me, that I'm missing that whole kind of thing.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Yeah, you're right.
It's like I want my underwear to serve the purpose of a jock as well.
You should just wear a jock.
Maybe I should.
Yeah.
Remember once, Kevin, we played softball against this team where that guy wore a jock on the outside of his pants.
Yeah, that guy was weird.
That was bizarre. Had like proper gray wool knit sweatpants.
Yes,
on, with a big jock strap
on the outside.
Yeah,
I know that was, and it wasn't Cameo, that singer from the 80s.
And he wasn't doing it to be like, I'll get a laugh from my teammates.
He seemed to be. That was functional for him.
Yeah, bizarre, man. Anyway,
he was a weird dude.
So I'm a briefs guy. You're a boxer briefs guy.
Yeah.
But neither of us are boxer guys.
So there we go.
But I got to tell you, folks, any of you are boxer wearers out there, you gentlemen.
Send a letter to mail at Howard, because we don't understand.
I mean, I guess it's what you're used to, but man, oh man, I do not get that at all.
No.
Just flopping around in the wind there, I don't understand that. Besides, I get a lot of wind in my pants.
I was going to say, are you wearing parachute pants? I think the briefs, just the regular briefs, seem too small to me now. They seem like some sort of like sexy underwear you'd wear. You know what I mean? They just seem like this is wrong.
Yeah.
I've been wearing the boxer briefs for so long. They remind me of those Speedos that like some guy would wear on the beach in Crete.
Yes.
You know?
Well, there are different cuts. You know,
There's
you
true.
can get the sort of real low cut ones, which again,
I don't want to hear about your underwear.
I don't get that.
Oh.
All right. Well, Peggy in Toronto, I hope that explains our underwearing habits. And
Certainly explained it to me.
Gives you a little insight on our thoughts on the matter. Moving on to letter number 3.
Letter number 3.
Three.
You got one there?
So this one is from Jaak in Toronto.
Okay.
It's a Toronto-centric show.
It is. I tell you.
He compliments our show. Great shows, guys. Very funny stuff.
That's nice.
Awfully nice. Thank you for listening, Jack. He says, one small technical thing, though, and I don't know if it's beyond your expertise, but maybe you want to look into it. I can't get the picture to work. The sound is coming through fine, but the video is all black. Maybe it could be my settings, but if you get this comment from more viewers, you may have a loose cable or something. Anyway, keep up the good work, says Jack in Toronto. So Jack is having a hard time seeing the video.
That's strange.
On our podcast.
That's very unusual. I mean, it's obviously some sort of setting he has on his computer.
Yeah. Maybe we should go to his house and tweak his technology.
I'm not...
So do you want to tell him or should I?
Well, I'm not familiar with sarcasm, as it were. But I have a feeling that Jack may know that this is not a video podcast.
You think he's messing with us?
I think he might be messing with us a little bit.
I guess that might be true.
It's possible. It's possible he's not, though. So maybe we should cover both things.
All right.
If you were being sarcastic and you understand this is not a video podcast, it's audio only, then that's very funny, Jack. Thank you very much.
And we've enjoyed a lovely chuckle at your...
Yeah. However, if you're serious... Let me describe a little bit about how computers work. I'm pretty sure that if this was a video podcast, at some point video would come up.
And the word video would have been mentioned at some point somewhere
along
the line.
It may have been called a video podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We might have said something to that effect.
Yes.
Somewhere in our website or in our thing. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are two different kinds of podcasts.
Yes, there's the video and the audio.
Originally, podcasts were just audio. Is that correct?
I think so, yeah. And then the video came later. That seems right.
So it's like podcast it's like a cute little word, right? It means like broadcast, but for like iPods.
Oh, I just got that. Oh.
Podcast, broadcast, and then and so iPods originally there was no video on iPods early on either, right?
That's true.
But now the technology has gotten fancier, and some people have put out video podcasts, like their own little TV shows that they've produced.
That's right. Why isn't this a video podcast?
Because we're like
hideous creatures that should never be shown on video. Yes. I think,
and we're also retro guys, right? We're like radio. We like radio.
Oh, I see.
We're like
that's what this really is. It's a radio show.
It is exactly.
Yeah, it's like an old-fashioned radio show.
Yeah, exactly.
We're like Amos and Andy, but with like less racism.
I thought you were going to say less pigment. Which is pretty much too much racism.
Yeah.
I was going to say I'm like Jack Benny and you're like Fred Allen.
Exactly. If I knew who Fred Allen was, I'd totally yell at that.
The Benny Allen feud.
Was he married to George Burns?
When I used to stay up late.
Isn't that Burns and Allen?
When I used to stay up late as a kid, listening to the radio shows.
Yes. You grew up in the 20s.
Exactly. I'm telling you. So this, maybe one day we'll do a special event video podcast, like a special.
Oh, that'd be good. Yeah. Like a Christmas special or something.
Yeah.
Where we read letters on camera. That is going to be great.
Maybe we could have the people show up and like read them to us.
Oh my God, live mail.
Yeah, maybe. But that's
ever been live mail ever?
That's another thing for another day.
Yeah.
For now, it's an audio only podcast, and we hope you will enjoy it while you do other things around the house. Do the dishes,
I like his comment
mow your lawn.
I like his comment that it might have been a loose cable or something. That's kind of funny.
So there you go, Jack from Toronto. Thank you for your letter. Audio only.
Audio
Your
only.
computer's fine.
Yeah, exactly. He must feel great now. His computer's fine.
Yes.
It wasn't me all
I
along.
hope he hasn't been trying to fix that all this time.
No. You know what, Howard? I have a feeling, and just correct me if I'm wrong, I think you've got some follow-ups for us, don't you?
It's time.
It's time, ladies and gentlemen, for Howard with follow-ups. We really need a jingle or something.
Yeah, a jingle.
Yeah,
can you like just as you're saying that, can you also be humming something?
Who am I? Andre Philippe Gagnon? Whatever that guy is.
So you have to like squeeze it in between words, like, and now
Yeah.
it's time for.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that.
All right, do you want me to hum something?
Why don't we do that on the... Ladies and gentlemen, it's follow-ups.
How was that?
That was good.
All right, so as we started in our last episode, we've discovered that periodically when we talk about things on the show, after the fact, once we've finished, we realize there are things that we wish we could go back on a little bit. Something we couldn't think of at the time, something we wish we'd, been more clear on.
I think really what these are is that this is stuff we wish we could go back and take out of the shows because we sounded like idiots.
Right, and so they're
but we can't.
corrections, things of that nature.
Yes.
All right, so I have
fact check.
So at the moment, I'm going back to episode 3.
That was a good one. I remember 3.
Episode 3. So if you haven't listened to it, pause this one right now. Go back and listen to episode 3 all the way through.
That's right.
And then go back here and pick this up where you left off.
Okay.
Ready?
Go.
Welcome back. Okay, so we got off on a big tangent talking about Kingston, Ontario.
Oh,
because
yes.
one of the letters was from someone in Kingston, Ontario.
Right. Yeah.
And we were trying to figure out, Kingston, it's Kingstown. It must have been named after some king or something. All right, so we had the general right idea, but the wrong king and the wrong period. So I've looked this up.
Terrible.
Kingston was named after, you'll find this interesting, I think, King George III. You had said something about maybe it's named after George.
Wow.
So you kind of had the right idea, just the wrong George.
Oh, man.
So King George III, and it was founded in 1788, the town of Kingston, Ontario. And at one point, actually, it was under consideration to be Canada's capital, along with Toronto and Ottawa.
I remember that. Yes,
Right.
yes.
So now, King George III...
Not from 1788. I remember that from Canadian history.
King George III ruled from 1760 to 1820, and was in fact the king who lost the United States. He was the king that they were rebelling against in the United States War of Independence.
Yeah, okay.
He's also known as... There was a movie made in 1994, The Madness of King George.
Oh, that guy. That's the crazy dude.
Crazy King George. Mad King George, I guess. So that's the king who Kingston was named after. And in fact, we talked a bit about Queen Victoria at the time, right?
Yep.
He was Queen Victoria's grandfather.
Oh, interesting.
So there you go. Now, in speaking of Queen Victoria, I said in that episode, do you know how many things in Canada there are that are named after Queen Victoria?
Yeah, I remember that. Yep.
And then, we can only think of a couple.
Right.
But trust me, there's a lot. You ready?
Sure, hit me.
So you mentioned Victoria, British Columbia, the capital of the province of British Columbia.
Yeah.
In British Columbia alone, there's Mount Victoria, there's Queen Peak, there's Queensborough, there's Victoria Harbour, there's Victoria Park, North Vancouver, there's Victoria Peak. In Alberta, there's Empress Alberta, Mount Victoria, Victoria Glacier, Victoria Park in Calgary. There's Lake Victoria, Manitoba, Victoria Beach, Manitoba, Victoria County, New Brunswick, Victoria Park in Moncton, Victoria Cove in Newfoundland, Victoria Lake in Newfoundland, Victoria Park in St. John's. There's Victoria Beach in Nova Scotia. I'm skipping a whole bunch here, by the way. Victoria Park in Halifax, Victoria Park in Truro, in Ontario, Queen's Park, the provincial capital building, is named after Queen Victoria. Queen Victoria Park in Niagara Falls, Victoria Corners, Victoria Falls, Victoria Harbour, Victoria Island, Victoria Lake, Victoria Park, Victoria Road, Victoria Square Memorial Park in Prince Edward Island. There's a place called Victoria Park, Victoria Provincial Park, Victoria West. Anyway, you kind of get the idea.
A lot of Victoria Parks.
Victoriaville.
Can I just stop you there, though? Do we have any proof that none of these places are actually named after Victoria Principal?
I don't even know who that is.
I think she was on Falcon Crest.
Oh, yeah. No, these are all named after the great Queen Victoria.
No.
Regina, the capital of the province of Saskatchewan. Regina is the word in Latin which means queen.
Right.
That's named after her.
Oh, wow.
So there you go. It just gives you an idea.
She's big. She's big in naming stuff.
Yes. Victoria
So
Island.
she named all that stuff herself?
No, it was all after her.
Oh, I see.
And then there's like 100 more that are named after her husband, Prince Albert, and a bunch more that are named after her children. And I'm telling you,
wow,
Queen Victoria, she was a
big deal.
She was the man.
Okay. Broken here first. Queen Victoria, a man.
So lots of things named after Queen Victoria. Thank goodness we settled that.
Goodness.
Now on that same episode,
yes.
Kevin, we were going on a bit about cereal and the kinds of cereal we like to eat.
Oh, I love it. Yes.
We got a nice letter from a listener, Kat in KW.
Okay.
You know where KW is, right?
I'm going to guess it's Kitchener-Waterloo.
Kitchener-Waterloo, that's correct. Kitchener-Waterloo, Ontario. She
could have been Kim Wilde, that singer from the 80s, but it's probably Kitchener-Waterloo.
We might come back to her letter another day because she's written quite a lot here.
Sure.
But she does talk about how she loves Captain Crunch.
Oh, yeah.
She mentions how she agrees with me that Fruit Loops get her vote.
Okay,
but she says in her house as a kid she mostly had shredded wheat, Total, and cornflakes.
Oh, what a boring house that was. No Fruit Brute?
She actually mentions that you mentioned Fruit Brute. She says she's never heard of it, and she wondered if you might have been reading the French part.
I turned the Frankenberry over, and it said Fruit Brute.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it was real.
Now, your mention of those, what are being called the General Mills monster-themed breakfast cereals.
Yes, indeed.
Got me to check out that particular subject, to just check on your accuracy. So, Count Chocula, still in production.
Mm-hmm.
The tagline, according to this, was, "I want to eat your cereal." Frankenberry is still in production.
Excellent.
It was introduced in 1971.
Yeah.
The other one also in 1971.
Mm-hmm.
Strawberry-flavored corn cereal bits and marshmallows.
Delicious.
Boo Berry.
Yeah,
introduced in 1973, also still in production.
I was also introduced in 1973. So
you were.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned Fruit Brute.
Yes, Fruit Brute.
Which I had never heard of.
It might have been an American-only thing, but I do remember it.
Fruit Brute was introduced in 1974 and discontinued in 1983.
Oh, yeah.
Check this out. Frosted fruit-flavored cereal with lime-flavored marshmallows.
That is weird.
That doesn't sound good at all.
Yeah.
Lime-flavored marshmallows.
Yeah.
So Fruit Brute. And on the box, there's like a cartoon werewolf.
Oh, is he a werewolf? Is that what he was?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then there's another one.
Okay.
Which even you didn't seem to know about. Fruity Yummy Mummy.
Didn't I mention Yummy Mummy?
Did you?
I might have been referring to a MILF who lives next door.
Yummy Mummy, frosted fruit-flavored cereal with vanilla-flavored marshmallows. That sounds much better to me.
Okay.
And the tagline for that one was, "Fruity Yummy Mummy makes your tummy feel yummy."
That doesn't make any sense. Why would your tummy feel yummy?
Yeah, it's true. It should be your tummy enjoys the yumminess.
The yumminess of the cereal. This
Yes.
all right.
Fruity Yummy Mummy.
Wow. All right. Well, that's good. See, I wasn't just lying. There were
So that's a whole
cereal.
thing. Monster-themed breakfast cereals. And what was that little beat there? Anyway, okay. Well, I guess that's it for my follow-ups. I'll just stick with episode 3 for today. We'll follow up another one another day.
All right.
People will have something to look forward to. So
this is turning out to the breakout segment of our show, the follow-ups. People don't care what we actually say, they care what we say about it later.
This will be like a spin-off. It'll just be
Yeah.
me following stuff up.
Right. The podcast will become huge, and I'll just be left behind.
That's right.
Anyway.
Howard talks about Howard and Kevin Open Your Mail.
It'd be strange because there'd be no podcast anymore to talk about it. It's like driving me crazy.
I could just keep following up the same 5 episodes we did.
You could. I mean, well, look, we're so packed full of ideas and interesting facts that you can just come through. There's so many.
Very true.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Kevin, I guess the sad news is that it's time for us to wrap it up.
That is sad.
So, hello, listeners. I mean, goodbye, listeners. Sorry, let's start a new one.
You forgot how this works. You should have just said
I
aloha.
forgot how the human language works.
the human language. I'm not sure there's a human language.
Yeah, I meant the English language. I've so badly lost the ability to speak the English language that I can't even think of what it's even called.
It happens to us all.
What's wrong with me?
You'll be all right.
Okay.
Anyway, why don't we try that again?
Okay, folks. Well, thank you very much for listening to Howard and Kevin Open Your Mail. Don't forget to go to HowardandKevin.com and check out our website. Send us a letter when you're there. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on
There's
Twitter.
so many things having to do with our podcast now.
Yes.
I miss the days when it was just our podcast. There was nothing else.
Oh, I know. The world is crazy now, Kevin.
I tell you.
And when you go there, you can check out all our older episodes. You can read the show notes that we have. Check out the various other things that we have on the website. And thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks for listening. And don't forget, everyone, on HowardandKevin.com, you too can send us a letter, which we might just read an answer on.
Howard and Kevin, open your mail.